Hello there. My name is Peter Thompson and this is one of my teaching videos, and it's about shaft flex, which for most golfers is a complete minefield. It really is. I know the shaft flex is important, but to try and get the right flex for each golfer is very tricky. Up until 1925, 1930, most golf shafts were made of wood. Normally hickory from North America. This is an old hickory shaft. The problem with them was this. Because it is made of wood, it has got torque. In other words, because of the weight of the head on the side of the shaft, the head would actually twist. You can see quite easily if I hold the grip quite firmly and twist the head, then the head will twist quite a lot. So golf is pretty old, 800 years maybe, wooden shafts up until 1925s, 1930s. So the problem with the wooden shaft was that as you came down to hit the ball, the head would twist open if you're right-handed. Head would twist open, then you find lots of top golfers still having to twist their hands over to try and square the face. So the torque in the shaft, and depending on the length of the shaft and the weight of the head would twist open sometimes 5, 10, 15 degrees, and then they would have to roll the wrists over to try and square the face, which made it quite tricky. But golf moves on, and 1925, 1930 they changed from wood to steel, which is a big advantage because now there's almost no torque. But golf being very traditional, they would produce steel shafts and put an enamel coating on them, so people thought they were still playing with wooden shafts, which is quite strange really. I used to have a chart, and you could buy steel shafted golf clubs in about 10 different variations, different colours, light wood, dark wood. This is a very dark one, so they all looked as if they were made of wood. Then, that's obviously quite expensive to make. You've got to make the shaft and then coat it. So then, having gone through that phase, they then produced chrome steel shafts. This is just a normal chrome steel shaft, and they used these for quite a long time. The problem is with steel, it can be quite heavy, and if it's too heavy, it's very hard to swing it quickly. So golf, because golf is always innovating, they changed from steel shafts to sometimes aluminium and graphite. And strangely, this is a graphite shaft made to look like steel. So this is a graphite shaft, and graphite, because of the way it's made, can be made to different weights. So the choice has gone from wood to steel to graphite, and the voice, or the choice of clubs has changed exponentially. Almost any flex you want now, and almost any material. Putters, again, went from wood to steel, and now graphite, and different materials. Steel is still the preferred choice though, because it's more and more consistent. That's a very brief history of shafts and how they've evolved from being made of wood to steel. But this video is about flex. What you do not want is a flexible shaft. This is one of my training clubs. I've had it for probably 40 years now, maybe even longer, and it's very, very flexible. As you can see, many people still believe the shaft's going to flex back and flex forward, so more flex the better. It's not strictly true. I use this club for showing people that when you swing down to hit the ball, the shaft is flexing backwards this way, but the shaft is at that angle, so when the shaft straightens, as you can see, it's going to straighten that way. So it's bending that way, it's also bending that way. And why would you want a golf club that's going to bend in two different directions and quite dramatically? Most people don't quite get this. I'll show you again. Swing down, very flexible shaft, it's going to bend backwards, which is that way. Then when you come down to get to the ball, it's going to straighten that way and that way. If you try to play golf with the shaft like this, the problem would be you could hit the ball very straight, but you'd have to swing really slowly so the shaft didn't bend so much. Slow back, slow down, so you don't get this horrible bending all over the place. Ball can go straight, but not very far. Most pros now use clubs with a graphite shaft in their longer clubs, in drivers particularly, but they still stick to steel shafts in their irons. What they want is a shaft that is stiff enough and light enough so it doesn't move around too far, and by being lighter they can swing it faster, but you can get a shaft that is too light. As I said, shafts are a complete nightmare. They really are. So how do you choose the best shaft for you? And there are literally thousands and thousands of shafts. People believe that a graphite shaft is lighter than a steel shaft. Not necessarily. You can now buy super lightweight steel shafts that are lighter than graphite shafts. People also believe that graphite shafts tend to bend more, but you can buy graphite shafts that are stiffer than steel shafts. Again, it's a minefield. So how do you find the best one for you? Well, some good golfers, some golf pros, they just find, particularly the driver, they will just find different drivers and just hit the ball with the different drivers, and they don't actually care what the shaft is, so long as it gives them the best golf shots. To be more scientific, I would advise you to go along to a club fitter who uses maybe TrackMan or something similar, and then hit golf balls with irons and with woods with different flexes of the same type of shaft. So you may well find that a steel shaft in a certain make that's a regular shaft is stiffer than another make that's a so-called stiff shaft. So you need to get onto a machine, and they're very good for fitting clubs, and just hit golf balls with the same club, maybe just a 7-iron, same weight head, same weight grip, with different shafts of the same make, and see which ones hit the ball straighter, further, and feel right for your swing. The faster you swing, as a general guide, the stiffer the shaft needs to be, and the slower you swing, say for ladies or juniors, a very flexible shaft will not feel flexible to them. It'll feel normal, completely normal. This is a regular shaft, yep, regular. To try try a stiffer shaft, you must have the same shaft and then feel the difference. Most golfers are fine with the regular or stiff shafts. I don't particularly like flexible shafts for the average golfer because flexible shafts tend to wobble around. If we go back to this demo club that I've used for a long time, you just don't want a shaft that's going to do that because you've got to swing the club so slowly to make the ball go straight. So find a competent club fitter. I used to make my own golf clubs, not in what I just teach, but I do like to get people to try and get a shaft that suits them. The shaft is important. It's not the most important thing, by the way. It really isn't the most important thing. Almost the most important thing with a golf club, just going away from shafts for a second, is the lie angle. I'll just show you this quickly. This is the lie angle. Club flat on the ground, the ball is going to go straight and high because there's a pitching wedge. If the lie angle is wrong, the heel is too low, the ball will go to the left, and if the toe is too low, the ball will go to the right. So to me, more important than the shaft flex is to get the lie angle of the clubs right and get the loft angles to match. If you can then get the right shaft flex for your swing, then that's a win-win-win situation. But loft angle, lie angle are more important. Loft angle, sensible in the air. Loft angle is wrong, it goes too low. Lie angle, toe down, ball goes right. Heel down, ball goes left. So a competent club fitter would explain all that to you, and having got the loft angle and the lie angle right, then you can work on the shaft flex. And the shaft flex is too bendy for your swing, then the toe will go down. I hope this helps. Getting the right shaft flex is really tricky. You need to get a shaft flex that is right for your swing, and it doesn't matter what flex it is. Even sometimes a lot of men will do better with a so-called ladies flex shaft. It doesn't matter what it's called as long as it works. I teach quite a few golf pros, lady golf pros, they all use men's golf clubs. All the best lady golfers I've ever taught, they always use so-called men's golf clubs because they're stiffer than so-called ladies golf clubs, and good golfers tend to swing quickly and they don't want the shaft moving around and bending around. So that's shaft flexes. Go and try them. If it's regular or stiff or extra stiff or a ladies shaft or a senior shaft, it doesn't matter what it is as long as it works for your swing. That's the most important thing. Think about your golf. Golfers can be quite selfish, which is probably a good thing because their golf is very important to them. So find the best flex to match your golf swing. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much.